You know that feeling when you've given everything to your job, your time, your loyalty, your health, and they still treat you like you're replaceable? That was me. I worked 12-hour days, skipped vacations, and trained people half my age who somehow ended up making more money than me for doing less work. One day I realized something. I didn't need to wait for them to value me. I could fire them. Hey y'all, if you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. I'm Linnell. I sold everything and now I live on cruise ships full time. If this video is a blessing to you, I want to encourage you to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and then turn on notifications. Hit the bell for all notifications so that you never ever miss another video. And follow me on my journey from poverty to paradise. For 10 years, I was an accountant at a large Fortune 500 company. I loved what I did. The numbers, the structure, the sense of purpose. The first 7 years and 2 positions that I was in were absolutely wonderful. But the last role I was in became intolerable. I absolutely loved the job, but I didn't love how I was being treated. I was overworked, underappreciated, and even though I was helping the company grow, I was constantly told that maybe next year I'd get that promotion. Meanwhile, the people getting promoted were younger, less experienced, and spent more time walking around the office gossiping than actually working. I was denied vacation days that I had asked for. Instead of a Monday to Friday trip like normal people, like normal vacations are supposed to be, my supervisor told me to take a Wednesday to Wednesday because it was more convenient for them. When I asked to work remotely, they said no. Then the pandemic happened, and suddenly everybody had to work from home. I did my job flawlessly for 2 years from home. But then when the world opened back up, they ordered me back into the same toxic office, same gossip, same disrespect, same overload. At that point, my health was starting to decline. I was stress eating, I had gained a lot of weight, I developed high blood pressure, and my doctor told me that I was pre-diabetic. I kept telling myself, Linnell, it's just work. Everybody is stressed. But deep down inside, I knew it was slowly killing me. Then came my last annual review. I completed every goal I was told to meet, but I was denied the raise that I was promised because they had added a new project after the fact and said that it was because it was still in progress that they needed to wait until the next year to give me my raise. That was the moment I felt sucker punched. And before I could even process that, my boss dumped even more work on my desk, tasks that belonged to somebody else making way more money than me. That's when I realized, listen honey, I'm done. I was done being the dependable one that everyone piled their mess on. I began to find a way out. Night after night, I sat down with my laptop and my calculator. I looked at my savings, my investments, my budget, and alternatives that were out there. I discovered that with about $3,000 a month, I could live comfortably as long as I lived differently. If I stayed in the U.S., that money would barely cover rent. But outside the U.S., it could cover everything: food, housing, travel, entertainment, and more. Once I realized that, I decided to live the life that everyone said was impossible. I fired my boss and I hired myself to live a better life. I had planned to give a 2-week notice, but I changed my mind. I was thinking if my boss ever decided to let me go, they wouldn't give me 2 weeks notice, so why should I give them 2 weeks notice? Before going through with it though, I confided in a friend who strongly urged me to give 2 weeks notice so I wouldn't burn my bridges, and also make sure that I have an option to return if life didn't work out the way that I wanted, or I decided I just wanted to come back to the company for whatever reason. What he didn't realize was that he was adding fuel to the fire. Not only did I want to leave, I wanted to ensure that the bridge was burnt to the ground. I didn't even want that temptation to return to something that I knew was not good for me or for my health. I gave 1 day's notice and I walked away. Just enough time for me to turn in everything, explain where passwords were and things like that, and I was out. They were asking me to train other people on this and that, and I'm like, listen, y'all figure it out. If they make more money than me, let them figure it out. I hear all the training, all the notes that I did. Y'all have everything that you need to do the job that supposedly I wasn't doing well enough to be able to promote it. So here you go. When asked what could they do to change my mind for me to stay, I said, y'all can just reverse all the bad treatment that y'all decided to give me over the last 3 years. And with that, I walked away. At the same time, my marriage was falling apart. I talk more about that in another video that I'll link to in the video description. My husband had broken our vows and so much more. And everything that I thought I knew about my future had collapsed. I wasn't just losing a job, I was losing this whole life that I thought I had. So I decided to take some time to heal. I had some emails for some free cruises I had earned and a cruise that I already had scheduled with my two sisters. For 90 days, I lived on and off the water. In between cruises, I hung out over with my daughter and her family. No meetings, no deadlines, just peace. I prayed, I slept, I took long walks, I mourned my losses, I played with my grandkids, and I started to feel alive again. Somewhere between those sunsets and sea days, I realized something life-changing. I didn't need no job title to have a purpose. I didn't need an office to have stability. I just needed peace and a plan. Fast forward to now, I live full-time on cruise ships. Most months I spend less than $3,000 total. I sail with Carnival, Royal Caribbean, and sometimes Princess and Holland America, wherever the deals take me. If I get offers for other cruise lines, I'll try them out too. Every day now, I wake up to ocean views, walk to breakfast that's already cooked, and I spend my days filming, creating, relaxing, watching the world drift by, doing whatever I want to do. And the biggest miracle, my health came back. After 90 days of getting rid of the toxic job and my toxic marriage, I lost 30 pounds without even dieting. After my first year of living full-time on cruise ships, I lost another 6 pounds, and my doctor told me that I'm no longer pre-diabetic. My blood pressure is now normal, and my stress levels practically gone. I'm not telling this story to brag. I'm telling it because I know that there's someone watching this sitting in their car in a parking lot crying before going into a job that they hate. You deserve more than that. If you're in a toxic environment, don't let it steal your health or your joy. Make an exit plan. Start saving. Research alternative lifestyles because they do exist. You don't have to wait for permission to change your life. Sometimes you just have to be brave enough to fire your boss so you can finally work for yourself, doing whatever gives you peace. Sometimes the storm that wrecks your plans is the one that clears your path. I thought losing my job and my marriage were the worst things that could ever happen to me, but they turned out to be the beginning of my freedom. So if you're standing on that edge, afraid to let go, just know that there's a whole world waiting for you on the other side of fear. And trust me, it's beautiful out here. I hope to see you on the next cruise.